So there's something weird going on in Deadlock. There's a lot of people in the game talking about how broken mid-boss is and how unplayable the game is after mid-boss is taken. And I'm one of those people. I complain a lot about mid-boss. So I collaborated with StatLocker to get some actual data to figure out what's going on with mid-boss. In the first graph here, we got 953 EU Eterna 6 games, 200 of those being scrims, and what we found was the teams who got mid-boss were 85% likely to win the game after getting mid-boss, and those who didn't get mid-boss were only 15% likely to win the game. In the second graph here, we have 375 EU Eterna 6 games. Those who got mid-boss a second time were 92% likely to win the game, and those who didn't get mid-boss a second time, or at all, were 7.5% likely to win the game. So what is going on here? Why is it when you get mid-boss, you're still likely to win the game? Well, that's what we're going to discuss in today's video here. We're going to look at Deadlock Night Shift. We're going to look at what's actually happening when you get the mid-boss. We're going to look at what you get from getting the mid-boss and all that good jazz. So it's very important that we talk about the context of mid-boss, what mid-boss actually does when you get it. So mid-boss is Deadlock's central objective. It's very similar to how Baron from League of Legends or Roshan from Dota 2 works. When you kill mid-boss, a Rejuvenator Crystal falls from the sky where you killed mid-boss, and it holds 3 Rejuvenator credits. To secure each Rejuvenator credit, you must punch the crystal 1 time, so you can punch the crystal up to a maximum of 3 times. Each Rejuvenator credit, when secured, gives your team a resurrection. So if you have a Rejuvenator credit and someone dies, the Rejuvenator credit is consumed and your teammate resurrects. When your team has at least 1 Rejuvenator credit, the team as a whole gets these 3 following buffs. They get a hero fire rate buff of 15%, a maximum health buff of 10%, and a spirit damage buff of 15%. Mid-boss also gives you a certain amount of souls. I don't know how much it is. I wasn't able to find it on the wiki, and it's not something I really keep track of in my head, but I believe it to be around 2,000 to 3,000 souls. So when you think of all these things that mid-boss gives, it gives you resurrections, it gives you fire rate, health, spirit, and it gives you gold. It makes sense why the win rate is so high. It's doing way too much compared to other objectives. Roshan from Dota 2 gives you some other things like refresh your orb and all this crazy stuff, but the main thing it gives you is 1 res. The Aegis goes on 1 person, the Aegis gets consumed, it also takes an item slot. In League of Legends, when you take Baron, you get gold, you get the buff, but you don't get 3 resurrections. You don't get 2 reses, right? You just get the buff to your player and the minion buff. So if Valve wants mid-boss to be very strong, that's not a problem at all. Mid-boss can be like the most broken objective in any MOBA. But the problem is, and what we're about to segue into, is how easy mid-boss is to take. So to talk about how early mid-boss is being taken, I'm going to show you guys a graph in collaboration with StatLocker once again, of how early mid-boss is being taken based on rank. And then I'm going to pull up some anecdotal evidence from Deadlock Night Shifts where we'll see teams taking mid-boss very early. So on the graph here, you can see a clear trend, downward sloping trend, of mid-boss being taken earlier and earlier and earlier based on the rank that you're in. So in Eterna 6, you can see that mid-boss is being taken around, it looks like 18 minutes, 16 minutes, 20 minutes. It's less than 22 though, but it's being taken very, very, very early in the game. It is usually happening around and between the 2nd and 3rd urn, which is 15 to 20 minutes. So here's some examples from Deadlock Night Shift on how early mid-boss is being taken. Here, this is just like last week, Deadlock Night Shift number 9. Well, it's probably a week before since this video will be uploaded after Deadlock Night Shift number 10. But in Deadlock Night Shift number 9, in the first challenger match, mid-boss is being taken at 19 minutes and 40 seconds. In the finals match, in the first game, mid-boss is being taken at 17 minutes. And in the second finals match, mid-boss is being taken at 8 minutes. And you can go through NA, you can go through EU, you can look from Deadlock Night Shift number 1. Mid-boss is being taken consistently in pro play around these times. So we can say from looking at these 2 things, the graphs and the anecdotal evidence of Deadlock Night Shift, mid-boss is not that hard to take. If teams are taking it that early into the game, it's not difficult to take. And you'll notice, anecdotally, once again, I'm sorry, mid-boss is being taken after like 1 to 2 picks. Like a team will just get 1 kill around a mid and they'll go mid. And then based on the graphs from the beginning of the video, their win rate will instantly jump up to 80 to 85% and the game's over. You'll hear streamers after the team gets mid-boss, they're like, well, GG, they get mid-boss. And that's usually what happens. What concerns me, however, is that there's this idea I have about games, right? And when a game first comes out, people playing the game are still learning. They're pretty bad at it. And then as time goes on, they get better and better and play the game correctly, or whatever you want to say, right? So when you look at the graph of mid-boss takes, mid-boss is being taken late in Initiate and early in Eternal 6. As time goes on, the lower ranked players, the Initiate, the Alchemist, the Arcanist, whatever, right, will take mid-boss earlier and earlier and earlier given time to get closer and closer to when Eternal 6 players are taking mid-boss. So I personally think, just speaking in my opinion, it's pretty unhealthy for a game to have an objective so strong based on the win rate in which we looked at the beginning of the video that can be taken so easily and so early. So we've teleported the Deadlock. I kind of want to just observe the space in which teams are taking mid-boss and show you guys like how easy it is to take. In games like League of Legends, when you take Baron, you get a spirit and bullet resist debuff. Well, armor and magic resist, but in this game it's spirit and bullet, right? When you take mid-boss and Deadlock, there's nothing that really happens. You just take flat damage and there's no shred or anything like that. The objective itself is pretty like weak. Like I'm not taking shred. The damage is pretty like whatever. I am max boons, sure, but I mean, you guys anecdotally can probably relate in the comments, like a McGinnis solo taking mid boss or a Hayes solo taking mid boss. Taking this is just not punishing for how strong it is. You know what I mean? And the space in which teams are forced to contest mid boss, I mean, like the space you have, it's very easy for these guys to just run at you. And also this height over here, it's not really that easy to contest mid-boss because they take it so quick. You know what I mean? Like you're here, you're shooting for 5 seconds, you barely do any damage and it's gone. I think highlighting these 2 points is pretty important because Valve can definitely make this objective a lot harder to take if they remodel the space in which it's being taken and the objective itself. Like maybe just add like some shredder mechanics to this guy to where like it's actually punishing the take. You know what I mean? I mean, here's a pretty nice spot to contest too, but they could just run at you. You know what I mean? Imagine like Mo Krill just goes, Phantom Strikes, combos you, you're dead. There's nothing you can really do. So we've laid out the following. Mid-boss, when you get it, your win rate increases dramatically. We've also laid out mid-boss is a very strong objective. It's stronger than Roshan or Baron from League and Dota. And also, mid-boss is being taken extremely early. Now, what I kind of want to dive into is I want to discuss, can mid-boss be taken earlier? Why is mid-boss being taken around 16 to 18 minutes in Pro Play and Turn 6? Is there something significant about that time? And indeed there is. The thing you need to understand about why mid-boss is being taken around this time is death timers. So when you die in Deadlock,
you die for real.
There's a time that it takes for you to respawn. There are 3 distinct death timer spikes in Deadlock. So when you die at 40 minutes, there is a respawn timer spike at 85 seconds. When you die at 30 minutes, there's a respawn timer spike at 75 seconds. And when you die at 19 minutes, there is a respawn timer spike of 35 seconds. And you can see around that time when pros are taking mid-boss, that is when death timers like spike. There is, you know, the time at which it takes to respawn around those times is pretty long compared to how they were before. So the reason pros are taking mid-boss around this time is because the death timers are so long. So all you need is 1 pick or 2 picks, you go mid, and no matter what the enemy team does, they will lose the 5v6 or they will get mid-boss and win the game. Like there's nothing you can do when you die around 18 to 19 minutes. Speaking from experience, in scrims, when we hit the 16 to 18 minute mark, we're like, okay guys, whoever makes the first mistake loses the game. Do not make a mistake. And what happens is like we'll run around as a pack and try to pick someone off so we can go mid. The name of the game past 16 minutes is mid-boss. So yeah guys, this objective is just busted. The death timers spike unfortunately early in the game, so it's very easy for teams to take it given how flimsy and weak it is and how OP the buff is. So I think if Valve just changes a few things with it, it won't really be a problem anymore. And I don't think people like their games lasting for 20 to 25 minutes in a turn of 6. At least I don't. Now that we've talked about how broken mid-boss is in competitive play and even in pugs, in the next video, we're going to talk about ways you can secure mid-boss easier, how you can use mid-boss to win more games, and some specific strategies that competitive teams do in their drafts in order to secure mid-boss more. Let me know what you guys think about the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video. So peace out, chat. Bye-bye.